po kayong psych assessment. And with that, magiging madali na rin po para sa inyo na maintindihan ang lesson and report na ito. So, let's start with the meaning of standardized tests. So, standardized tests are special kinds of tests that are same for everyone. Same questions, same directions, and same way of checking. So, this helps teachers and schools compare the scores of students fairly. So, let's say for example, the National Achievement Test or yung NAT. So, in the Philippines, NAT is a standardized test because all students take the same test on the same day. And now, let's move on about the standardized test and its purpose. So, standardized tests are used for many reasons. So, according to Soundtrack, here are the five main purposes. So, the first one is to know students' progress. So, this tells how students are very well in learning. So, let's say for example, if many students get low score in math, then the teacher will know that they need to review the topic again. So, that is what the number one reason. And let's move on now for number two. So, number two is to find students' strengths and weaknesses. So, it shows what students are good at and what they need to improve. So, let's say for example, a reading test may show that a child reads well but has trouble understanding the story. So, for the third one, to help place students in programs. So, it helps school know where a student belongs. For example, a high score in reading. A high score in reading might place a student in the advanced reading group. So, that is what number 3 is. So, for the number 4, to help teachers plan lessons. Test results guide teachers on what to teach next. For the number 5, to teach school performance or accountability. It helps schools know if their teaching is effective. So, let's say for example, the Department of Education can see which schools need more help based on the test results. And now, let's move on for the criteria for evaluating standardized tests. So, how do we know if a test is a standard and good standardized test? So, there are 4 important qualities. Number 1 is the norm reference and criterion reference test. So, in norm reference test, compare your score with the scores of other students. So, let's say for example, if you're in the 18th percentile, it means you're scored higher than the 80% of students in your grade. While on the criterion reference test, it measures if you reach a certain standard of or level. So, example, in a English test, if the passing score is 75%, then everyone who gets 75% or above meets the standard. For the number 2, it is the validity. Validity means the test measures what is supposed to measure. So, for example, in a math test should measure math skills and not reading skills. So, the number 3 is the reliability. Reliability means the test gives consistent results every time it's given. So, let's say for example, if you take the same IQ test today and next week, your score should be almost the same. So, for the fairness, which is the number 4, fairness means the test is free from bias or discrimination. It must be fair to everyone, boys, girls, and students from different places or languages. So, let's say for example, if a test has hard English words that some students don't know, it might be unfair to those who speak another language at home. And now, let's talk about the 2 types of standardized tests. So, first one is the aptitude test. The aptitude test measures what you can learn or do in the future. So, they tell how well you might do even if given proper training or schooling. So, example for this is the IQ test. Measures general thinking ability. Sa SAT naman is predicts how well you do in the college. And for the Otis Lenon School Ability Test, it measures school ability. And for the achievement test, second one is achievement test. It measures what you have already learned in school. They show your knowledge and skills in different subjects. So, example nito is yung NAT, National Achievement Test. Meron din yung LOA, Test of Basic Skills, and Stanford Achievement. And for the next slide, which is the types of standardized achievement tests. So according to Sandra, there are 3 types of achievement tests. So the first one is survey batteries. These tests many subjects at the same time. So dito yung dalawa test of basic skills, it includes, 'di ba, na reading, math, and language arts. So for the number 2 is specific subject tests. So ito yung nag-focus lang on only one subject. Example is the Woodcock Reading Mastery Test. So, ito yung test na gina-check yung reading skills only. So, for the number 3, diagnostic test. So, this helps teacher find learning problems or areas that need help. So, example nito is a reading diagnostic test can show if a student has difficulty understanding in words. So, everyone, to sum up my report, standardized tests are fair tests that are given the same way to all students. They help teachers and schools to know how well students are learning. So for the aptitude test, it shows what student can learn, while achievement tests show what student already learned. So these tests help to improve teaching and learning for everyone. Thank you so much for listening.